Hi friends, it's Brittany at Ink and Papyrus and welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. You may be wondering what all of these journals are doing scattered about on my desk. Well, today we are talking about interactive journal elements and I want to show you some examples of some of my favorite interactive journal elements to utilize in my page layouts. Interactive journal elements are what drew many of us to junk journaling in the first place, whether we know it or not. Whether it be the tactile experience of different textures, flipping up to find a surprise, opening doors, or shaking pretty things. It's all drawn me in to want to create more and more, to express myself in ways I never thought that I could. And I'm guessing you feel the same way. Interactive elements aren't just satisfying, they offer us tried and true page decoration ideas when we feel stuck. They give us safe places to put treasured things and write cherished memories or even secret thoughts. Today, I hope to give you page decoration ideas and permission to let go and just play with your papers. So let's start with idea number 1, fold-outs. I'm sure many of you are already utilizing a lot of these in your journaling spreads, but I wanted to show you these maybe in a different light, maybe inspire you to do things a little bit different, incorporate them into your spreads a little bit differently, or just give you some great decoration ideas. I love fold-outs. For one, they allow you to put pages and materials in your journal you may not want to fold in half into a signature, just like I demonstrated with that book page. Fold-outs can allow for extra journaling space or to add extra room for a journal spread. Consider adding something to the page to prompt one to turn the page or fold out the paper. An actual tab, a die cut, a fabric bunch, anything like that works. I think even the simple watercolor butterfly here that I added to the book page prompts interest and prompts the reader to flip the page open. There are several ways to create a fold out and all of it works. You can fold the paper and glue it to the signature page so that it hinges. You can sort of mimic the same effect with washi tape. You can hinge it with paper and fabric. Whatever you want to do works. Here I've actually used some ribbon. You can use trim, lace, it all works. Have you guys ever done a swatch page? I highly encourage it. It's so relaxing. It's such an easy layout to create. Here I've done a watercolor swatch page, and the fold out to the right is a listing of all of the names of the different colors that I've swatched. So much fun. So this last fold out here is a book page. It says the bunny was home, and this is the very end of my little golden book journal. And I used this flip out to do some long, deep journaling. I felt like it was kind of fitting. I'm kind of at a place right now where I'm content and happy with where I am, and so I just felt like that was a great spot to journal about the year in review. So next up is this really pretty bohemian journal. I guess this clip was a little bit misplaced because this is actually kind of a flip up, but while we're here, we'll look at this pretty little flip up, why don't we? As I show you examples, we're going to be hopping from journal to journal, so I hope you don't mind that we're going to be skipping from Christmas theme to Halloween theme to everywhere in between. So this next layout here, this fold out, I have secured with an altered paper clip. I actually have it in a way that I have a pocket up here where I have some bohemian, some gypsy journaling cards, and then it folds out to create extra journaling room. I absolutely love this. It's so space efficient. If your journals are really bulking up and you're running out of room to journal, this is a great way to tackle that issue. So as you can see, my bohemian journal is still rather empty. I'm ashamed to say it's one of the 50 projects I have going on right now that I have yet to finish, but soon. Okay, now on to this beauty. I don't know about you guys, but I love this closure that I made. I just sewed various pieces of ribbon and fabric together and layered them almost like a skirt. So here's another fold out that I love doing, and it's so easy to hinge because it's an envelope. All you have to do is glue the other side of the envelope to the opposite side of the paper and you have yourself a fold out. I know I've been showing you guys a lot of this nautical themed journal lately. I love it so much. Maybe one of my absolute favorite journals. Okay, another envelope fold out, and here I've just stashed some ocean themed vintage postcards. You may be wondering, what the heck is this thing? This is the memory book I made for my dog. And yes, in case you were wondering, that is the inner squeaker of an old Kong toy on the tassel. And these definitely are not fold outs. I just have to show you how handsome my guy is. Okay, a lovely Valentine themed journal. The cover is made from aluminum foil pressed over hot glue stencils. I love how this came out. And let's look at another fold out. So this fold out is attached with an envelope paper clip, and it is vellum sewn to a paper with some goodies stashed in between, and the fold out component it's basically hinged over the signature page. See, so these don't have to be complicated. They can actually be quite simple. But I love the surprise element, especially if you're giving this journal to someone. You can stash some goodies in there so that they can decorate the journal for themselves, and it's just a nice little thing. I also love fold outs because it allows you to add to the page without covering something up. And here I did this fine jelly print from a magazine. I was so happy with how the image transfer came out, and I didn't want to cover her up, but it just felt blank not having anything else on the page. So that's where the fold out comes into play. Here are some more fold outs in my botanical journal I am also currently working on. Yes, currently working on. I have so many projects that are currently unfinished. I'm working on it. These two are decorated cards. It is the perfect way to add extra journaling room. Maybe you want to incorporate a card with a sentiment or a picture or something in there that you like. Maybe it's not meant to journal on at all. Maybe it's the card that a loved one had sent you and you want to find a way to incorporate it in your journal. Well, this is the perfect way to do it. This fold out is a decorated glassine envelope, and I love that because you can see exactly what's inside. And don't be shy, of course, about decorating under the fold out. That's a lot of the fun and contributes to the element of surprise. On to my Christmas journal. Is it too early to start Christmas journaling? I don't know, just asking for a friend. This is truly my favorite time of the year. You'll see a lot of Christmas examples in this video because I have made about 1,000,001 Christmas journals over the years. And this brings me to interactive element number 2, belly bands. Here you can see this belly band is made with collage masterboard, and inside I have a little Christmas tea card and a Christmas cottage that I made. I will try and remember to link all related videos down in the description box, and I did do a video on making these Christmas cottages into tucks and paper clips and a lot of other goodies. This is another Christmas themed belly band made with a collage masterboard. And when I say collage masterboard, I mean I just took paper and took a ton of scraps I had left over from Christmas crafting and put it all together, whether it be die cuts or lace or digital images, Christmas related cardstock. I usually take the scraps that I have left over every year, and that's the last Christmas crafting that I do. I just put it on a giant masterboard and I sew over it and use it in my Christmas crafting for the following year. When it comes to belly bands, never has there ever been a better place to stash your treasures. Papers, mini notebooks, ephemera, photos, I could go on and on. Best of all, belly bands could be made out of just about anything. Paper, fabric, punch outs, postage stamps, shaker envelopes. They can be made thick or thin. They can be made to accommodate large pieces, or depending on how you secure it to the paper, you can make a belly band made to hold smaller pieces without them falling out. There's so many ways to decorate them. The ideas, the possibilities are endless. Sew them, don't sew them, make them bright, pastel, dark, festive, spooky, you name it, it's possible. I love making belly bands mixed media. Here I started with a paper base. I put, I think, some book page on top and then added some applique and then finally sewed on some faux flowers and made a little flower center with some liquid pearls. You can do anything that you want with these. I think this qualifies as a belly band, but maybe it's more a tuck. But I've just taken a piece of paper and secured each end to 2 signature pages and did not glue it all the way, so there's space for these cute little sea-themed tea cards that I have. Consider making a double belly band like I have here. There is a piece of thicker paper on the base, and then there's a thinner paper that goes over the first belly band to make a second belly band. Sorry, I'm probably doing a really bad job of explaining this. It's hard to explain it, right? How you're attaching pages to the paper, but luckily this is why there is video. I'm sure you guys can just look at it and tell exactly how I fixed it to the paper. Video for those of us who can't use our words. I love the look of these sewn fabric ruffles. Absolutely love the way they look as a belly band. I am such a sucker, by the way, for vintage ocean-themed digital kits. I've probably bought them all. Another just really simple belly band with a beautiful vintage lady sitting here at the beach. All right, now it is spooky time. This is a Halloween journal that I made last year. I think it's called Morbid Curiosities. Again, I did a full flip through and I will include the link in the description box. I love that spooky tassel. Look at that skeleton at the bottom, the moon. So we're taking a look at belly bands here. Stay on track. Some more vintage images. I love vintage images of the kids trick-or-treating in their little vintagey costumes. Love, love, love. This is a belly band similar to what I had done before. As I was showing you guys, I just fix one piece of paper to each of the signature pages and don't glue it all the way so that there are little pockets in the middle. I really love the way this is decorated though. It's such a simple layout, but I think it's the contrast between the white signature page and the vintage ledger and then the colorful image and that sentiment and then the little circle punches out in the periphery. I love the way this looks. Another very simple belly band. This is just collage, and I utilized a focal point being this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Remember how I always tell you to save the negative of your punches? Well, this is the punch out skeleton back with book page, and to emphasize these other little punch outs, I have just dipped them in my stamp pad. So yeah, basically it's punch outs on top of punch outs, and it makes a great belly band. So this is kind of a weird belly band. I don't know what you would call this, but it is a belly band made from lace applique glued on each side to the page, and then I have simply put a piece of really pretty paper on top of the lace. I love finding embossed papers inside of a journal. Alright, so back to my dog's journal. I want to show you guys here. I've taken some packaging from He Gets Bully Make box subscriptions, and I love the packaging that comes with the box of toys every month. It's so colorful. And so I was like, I'm not sure how to incorporate it into his journal. And so here I've just created a small belly band with some paper, put some glitter glue on it, and just turned it into a belly band with some really cute stamp stuff. And again, these are not belly bands, but I just had to show you this little Valentine section. A very simple paper belly band, and inside I have someone sent him treats for Valentine's Day, doggy treats, and so I have just included the ingredients for the recipe inside. This belly band was just made with 2 pieces of paper I did some stamping on, and I have this key washi, and I just fussy cutted a little washi key in the middle to make it look like a door, and inside I put this really thin bookmark. This is what I call a staggered belly band. This was created just by gluing 3 papers together without obviously letting the glue seep around it, and it just allows you a really thick belly band that you can put some larger papers in. Here I'm using this larger belly band to hold a notebook. This is one of my favorite ways to add extra journaling spaces. Talk about a mixed media belly band. This belly band has like everything in it. It has watercolor, it has magazine images, words, buttons, you name it, it's here. And this was all inspired by my love for strawberry shortcake. Alright, so I really want to show you guys how I made this belly band because I thought it was really clever, and I love the way this came out. So I just took a piece of paper and I punched 2 holes. I set 2 eyelets, and then I wrapped some cording around, or embroidery floss, around the eyelet, and then punched a hole in the piece of paper and ran the embroidery floss to the other end and just made a little knot. Sure, it'll add just a little bit of bulk to your journal, but I love the way this came out, and I don't think I've ever made a belly band that looks like this before. So this garden theme jelly print really inspired me to make a garden theme belly band. Here you see 2 magazine images of some garden goodies, and I am using it to hold some seed packets that I stitched together. I love using magazine images in my journal. You know, I've been hoarding magazines for quite some time now, and then it prompted me to start making things because my shelf literally would not hold one more magazine. And then once I started opening the magazines and cutting the images, I started looking at the images through a completely different lens. And I had all these images. If you had asked me, well, what would you do with this image? Like, how would you use this in a journal? I might not have been able to answer you initially. And then once I cut out the images, ideas just started coming, and even images that you wouldn't traditionally think to put in a journal because they're not quote unquote pretty, I ended up using in many different ways that really fascinated me and were really rewarding because I made projects and created things that I normally would never have made. So if you haven't seen my magazine video, check it out, especially if you have hordes of magazines laying around. I think it will be really inspiring to you. The project was very inspiring for me, and I will link that down in the description box below. More belly bands. So in this Bohemian journal, this is actually an accompaniment to the journal. Here I have made a belly band just from, I think it was like a gift bag or something like that, and put some punch outs. And in here I just decorated some checks that I picked up at the thrift store. Remember how I told you you could make a belly band from anything? Well, yes. Here is a beautiful crocheted piece that I found at a thrift store, and I just sewed it to the page on 2 ends. And there you go. There you have it. Now you can use it as a belly band. I love this red and gold journaling card I made, and I think it just fits with the theme perfectly. Another reason I love belly bands is because it allows you to store things that you may not want to punch holes in, you may not want to glue it down to a page, and it allows you to keep pieces of ephemera in their entirety. And that's what I wanted to do with these plant pieces I got from a very old botany book. Okay, well maybe it wasn't that old, I don't know, but it had that really good old smell to it. You guys know what I'm talking about. And on to interactive component number 3, journal tabs and toppers. Nothing is more inviting than a cute little topper that's just screaming, "Pick me, choose me." So what you choose to do with these little toppers is up to you. You could make toppers out of ephemera you have from an event or a trip, or even journal on them. You can use them as a really pretty decorative element, and maybe add a couple words to the bottom of the topper. Maybe you could add toppers that you know would inspire the journal recipient to journal or write something, and that's what I do later. You'll see I add little words to the toppers almost as a journal prompt. This is, after all, about creating interactive elements. I was so proud of myself. I found something to do with these foam hearts that have been sitting around in my office forever. Here, I use these little washi bookmarks with some images on top as toppers. You can't really write on them because, well, it's washi tape. But I thought it just was really cute decoration, especially in the pocket that I created by gluing this cute little cottage down to the page. I love making tabs with images on top that will prompt someone or inspire someone to journal about an experience. Here is the Airbnb Little Cayman, and so I added some images to the top of these tabs and was going to journal a little bit about the pool there and some of the experiences we had at the Airbnb. These tabs have little faux buttons I made by watercoloring and doodling on cardstock, and I love these so much. Here's some more tabs / toppers. One is from my spooky journal, and it's another washi bookmark, but I actually backed this one with paper so that I can do some journaling on it, and I just have some words at the top there. Tabs are obviously going to be smaller. There's not a whole lot of room to journal. It's more just to put a little sentiment or maybe add an image to something unexpected and surprising that the journal recipient can pull out of the journal. These toppers in my beach journal simply have a stamp on them, and I was thinking about just listing all of my favorite things about the beach on them. I think something like that would be perfect to put on toppers. Obviously, they're not made for long-form journaling, but a list or something short and brief would be perfect. I absolutely adore these little Christmas tea cards with an image and a lyric from a Christmas song. I've just put little ribbon with some mistletoe on each of these toppers. Another two simple tabs in a book page pocket surrounded by washi tape. I think they're just perfect in this layout. Very simple, but beautiful. And now for interactive element number 4, doors. What a fun experience, being surprised by what's behind a door. And same goes for windows. Doors and windows can be magical and incorporated right into a theme. Think spooky, majestic, fairy. But really, doors and windows can be used as an interactive element in any journal. And now for interactive element number 5, journaling and specimen cards. So I did try and narrow this down for you guys, but I was probably unsuccessful because this is one of my favorite pieces of ephemera to make. And really, is there anything more versatile than a journaling or a specimen card? Not really. So I have so much to show you guys. Journal cards come in all shapes, sizes. They can be decorated with paper, fabric, book pages, sewing pattern. You name it, you can make it. And as for specimen cards, I think they're one of the most interesting pieces of ephemera that you can make. You can put just about anything flat into them and capture a feeling or a memory regardless of the type of journal you are working on. As you saw earlier, I took a postage stamp and I cut out a postage stamp with my deckled scissors and decorated the front and back and put that into a specimen card. I've put fabric and thread and buttons and various things into sewing themed specimen cards. Even though I traditionally love to put plant material and goodies from nature in them, truly the sky is the limit. I don't know about you, but these retro Valentine themed journal cards were some of the cutest cards that I've ever made, and I would love to make some of these again next year. Obviously, you can't make them for a ton of people because they take a really long time, and once I made them, they were so cute, I don't think I could have given them away. But wouldn't it be so cute to make some retro Valentine themed card for some of your loved ones and then maybe steal them back after they see them? I'm just kidding, kind of. I'm so in love with this Valentine themed journal. There's so many vintage themes to it. As you can see, they're more vintage Valentines that I made. I'd enjoyed the process so much. Speaking of enjoying the process, here is a specimen card that I made. I guess I would qualify as a specimen card. It was inspired by the whole sort of morbid curiosity theme, where I found these tickets with like specimens on them, and I thought, well, I guess that would look really cute in a specimen card like frame. So I just secured the tickets with washi tape, and I actually just used old recycled packaging that I had to secure the inside tickets, and then sewed it up like you would a specimen card. If you're against sewing, you don't have to sew your specimen cards. You can secure the clear plastic inserts with some of the double-sided adhesive. You can get it really cheap off like Amazon, Walmart. Everybody has it. But yeah, so don't let the sewing part scare you away. These cards are so much fun to make. So these Bohemian cards I'm showing you here don't qualify as specimen cards. They were just made with windowed envelopes, but I ended up putting some cardstock around them and putting some really pretty papers inside, and then sewing around them and decorating the frames just a little bit. And the back, I guess you could put some plain paper on if you wanted for some extra journaling room. I hope these journal cards are giving you some ideas and getting the creative juices flowing. This one journal card I actually made from an old shirt I had that was torn. I couldn't wear it anymore, and so naturally I used it to craft. This specimen card was made from old packaging, and I decided to stick some magazine images inside. I sewed around and put some watercolor on the cardstock frame. This specimen card was made by punching out postage shapes, and because you don't have to measure an inner frame, there really is no measuring, and these really are the easiest specimen cards to make. If you want to see more details on how to make these, I will also include a dedicated video in the description box below. More journaling cards. These with some vintage images, and please don't judge the sewing. This was done earlier in my journaling days, and it's amazing any thread made it on at all. So these Christmas themed postcards I had so much fun making, and these are all created from magazine images. The second image you see there obviously is not a magazine image. It is a jelly print on book page of some Christmas decorations. I don't know what to call this, but I love this, I guess, windowed Christmas themed journaling card. I just took a windowed envelope and put some really pretty Christmas paper and cut it to be the shape of a tag and added a topper. I guess the great thing about junk journaling world is you really don't have to have a name for things, especially when you're just using random packaging. Just use the supplies around you, day-to-day supplies. We're all guilty of just buying hordes of things that we never use. There's something so much more rewarding about taking something that is trash or a throwaway and creating something awesome with it. And it's not to say that we can't buy supplies that we love. I totally get it, and I love getting new things for my office. But when you take something and force yourself to make something out of it, sometimes that is you at your most creative. I hope you know what I mean. One of my favorite specimen cards was one I made just a little bit ago. We recently ventured to Little Cayman Island, and there was a ton of sea glass there. And when I said don't limit yourself, you can put just about anything mostly flat into a specimen card. And I just absolutely love the way that this turned out. Now for interactive component number 6, flip-ups. Flip-ups aren't just fun to interact with, they can be used to add space for journaling. Flip-ups can be used to layer pages and fabric, and are a very efficient way to add multiple elements to a page. In a way, they're like peeling back layers of an onion. Who knows what you'll find inside? I guess, unless you're actually peeling back an onion, in which case you're likely to just find more onion. I guess that was a really bad analogy, I'm sorry. So I love this flip up coming up. It has digital images that say the fortune teller on them. with a gypsy next to it, and it kind of reminded me like when you're going to a little booth to have your fortune told, and so that's kind of what the lace was meant to represent. Don't be afraid to add different components to your flip-ups. In this one flip-up, I have cardstock, coffee paper, ribbon, and applique. I love creating flip-ups from photos. It's almost like a show and tell. Here I have made a faux window from vellum and have just cut pieces of white paper to make the shape of a window and added some gold gilding wax to the white paper. And I don't know, I just love the aesthetic of it all. Again, I love adding different components to flip-ups. Here I have some lace, some applique, some cardstock, and other papers. Sometimes I like to put things under the flip-ups for people to find, whether it be words or images or other decoration. Under this fabric flip-up, I have layered some different pages and have done some stamping on them. And at the bottom, I've put a digital image of the seashore. Flip-ups don't have to be large. You can make a small flip-up with some staggered pages and hinge them with washi, just like I have done here. This here has to be my favorite flip-up of all time. I've taken the Embark packaging from my dog's DNA kit and have hinged it to the page to do a flip-up of the big reveal of his breed. And of course, there is an adorable picture of him off to the side next to it. Component number 7, tip-ins. So what's a tip-in anyways? I'll bet you have some in your journal and don't even know it. A tip-in is something, anything, fabric, paper, vellum, tags, cards, anything attached to one side that can flip, revealing more of a page. Tip-ins can be used to add a decoration when you forgot or ran out of space in your initial page layout. It can be used to create a spot for some hidden journaling. Maybe you use tip-ins as a way to create an element of surprise to keep a part of a picture or an idea hidden, encouraging one to quote-unquote flip up or explore something. My favorite way to add a tip-in is washi tape. Tried and true. Make sure to go over your washi with a little glue stick before laying it down for some extra security. Anything that hinges can also be used. Fabric, paper, etc. Staples and sewing can also be used to add tip-ins. The sky is really the limit here. Tip-ins are also good for specific scenarios. You may have noticed a couple of pages ago I added a tip-in with watercolor paper because I knew I would want to paint on that page, but I don't like painting on copy paper because it gets wrinkly and you don't get the same effect. You guys know what I'm talking about. Another special situation is with vellum. I found that I've tried several different glues, and regardless, I feel like I always get some wrinkling and things that I don't really like when I try to glue things down on vellum. Well, I love adding tip-ins with either staples or sewing onto the vellum so that the vellum isn't just standing alone. There's some kind of page decoration. Or using a tip-in, you can have a piece of writing attached to it or something that you couldn't actually do on the vellum itself. Envelopes are perfect tip-ins because you can add them to a page just like the small one I did here and actually have a little pocket to stash some ephemera or whatever you want to keep hidden. These tip-ins I have put into my Christmas journal in the form of an advent calendar for journaling for each day leading up to Christmas, and I can't wait to use this journal to document Christmas adventures of 2025. These pages came from beloved Christmas books, including Christmas Around the World. The page I used to tip in was from one of my favorite lines from, you guessed it, The Night Before Christmas. This is from the Spooky Morbid Curiosities journal, and I have used the envelope here as a tip-in. I have decorated the page and added a tuck spot, and I realized there was some more ephemera that I wanted to place on the page that I didn't have room for. So like a tip-in is good for, I went ahead and attached the envelope to the page for another spot to keep some ephemera and decorated it. I stamped, I have a window stamp and cut out an owl. I went around him with some black Stabilo pencil to really emphasize him and make him the focal point. And I love how this came out. Now for interactive element number 8, hidden journaling spots. Sometimes you may want to journal on small little pieces of ephemera. Sometimes you may want to be a little bit more secretive. Sometimes you may just be a little insecure about your handwriting like me and not want to necessarily write on the page directly for fear that you may ruin it. Here's some ideas for you, and here are some ways to incorporate hidden journaling spots into your journal. You'll notice that one of my favorite ways to add hidden journaling spots is to just create a separate accompaniment journal. This allows you for some more discreet writing. Maybe you've just run out of room in your journal. Maybe you need some extra journaling room, some places to put some ephemera. The accompaniment journal is perfect for this. This next hidden journaling spot is a piece of paper folded onto itself to create a pocket and then pinned to the next page. Not only do you have a pocket for some additional journaling cards that you can keep hidden, but the paper folds out and that gives you some extra journaling spaces on the back that is hidden from plain sight. Another favorite hidden journaling spot of mine, of course, involves an envelope. I secure the envelope to the opposite side of the page and the envelope hinges out just like so. You can put the card that the envelope came with or paper of your own or anything else, but this is a great way for some extra hidden journaling room. As you can see here, one of the easiest way to add hidden journaling spots is simply to cleverly secure a page differently to another page, maybe pin it back, maybe create a hidden pocket like I've done here. I actually have a couple of different hidden pockets. This is probably one of my favorite ways to add hidden journaling spots. Did you catch that beautiful lace course that I made? Yes, I made that just with paper and some hole punches, set some eyelets, and just laced it up with some ribbon. That is a perfect spot for some hidden journaling. Even just paper clipping a page on the opposite side, front and back, is a perfect way to add some hidden journaling spots. On to our 9th and final interactive journal component, shaker envelopes. Could there be anything more fun? I don't think so. Personally, I love using windowed envelopes. I will put nature materials, botanicals, dried flowers, anything like that. Back it with some really, really pretty paper. You can put in confetti, glitter, really small die cuts, whatever your heart desires. And then I sew around, decorate the envelope, and there you have yourself a shaker envelope. One of my favorite shaker projects of all times was actually the snow globe cover that I made as last year's Christmas journal. The concept was the same, but instead of using an envelope, I simply used a recycled plastic lid. And I would call this interactive. All right, this thing is so much fun. I love this nautical themed envelope. Inside are just some very small die cuts, including fish, crabs, and I think some blue and yellow confetti. Here is a spooky themed shaker envelope with some gothic themed confetti I think I got from Michael's. And don't forget to actually decorate the envelope itself. I love decoupaging tissue paper, napkins, book pages, whatever you have you can use. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Going through all these journals was very nostalgic. I know many of us use these interactive components daily, but I hope I showed them to you in maybe a little bit of a different light, inspired you to create something a little bit different, maybe gave you some good page layout ideas. Hopefully I inspired you to create in one way or another. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this, found value in this, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you the next time.